Today's video is going to be on real estate pros and cons, and I'm going to start out with the pros because I want to start off on the positive side. I'm a realtor. I've been a realtor since I was 18 years old. I'm 22 right now, so I'm about to be in my fifth year of real estate. And I've done really everything you can think of. I've done wholesaling, flips, all different kinds of investments. I own a car wash. I do some commercial stuff. And then, of course, I help, buyers and sellers. Um, with their real estate needs. So this is specifically though going to be on pros and cons of being a real estate agent. So let's start with the pros. The first thing, the reason I love it so much is because one, you get to make your own schedule, and two, you get to be your own boss. So I love that. I am not cut out to work a 9 to 5. I've never been cut out to work a 9 to 5. It's just not for me. I hate people telling me what to do. Like I hate people telling me what to do, whether that's my sister trying to tell me what to do, a boss, and like don't get me wrong, I've been a great worker. I've worked several jobs where I've had a boss, I've had a set schedule. It's been like a 9 to 5 job, and I've been a very good worker. I'm respectful, and I will do what they tell me to do. I've never had any discipline problems or gotten in any trouble at any jobs or anything like that. It's just not for me. I'm not cut out for it. And I want to wake up when I want to wake up. I want to go into work when I want to go into work. I don't even have to go to the office. Like my broker cannot make me come to the office every day if I don't want to. If I wanted to get my real estate license and just hang it on the wall and never sell a piece of property and move to Germany and sell sheep for a living over there, literally they could not say a single word to me because I'm my own boss. I'm self-employed. I'm on a 1099, that's like a tax document, whatever. Um, we'll get into that later, but that's just me. That's what I like. However, this kind of leads into the cons. You've got to be disciplined with that. So this is kind of one of those things where you're given a lot of power, but you've also got the responsibility now. So you don't have anyone telling you what to do. You don't have anyone making you do the work. You don't have anyone telling you when you have to work. So you got to make sure you can hold yourself accountable and you can be disciplined enough to say, okay, I've got these tasks to do. I've got to do them before then, and make sure you get it done, or else your reputation's gonna go down. You're not gonna be a good real estate agent. So that's kind of just par for the course. And then if you know that you need to spend 2 hours a day doing lead generation, you've got to make sure you set that time aside and get that stuff done. That's just a huge part of it. So the pros are good if you're a disciplined person. It's a con though if you're not a disciplined person and you don't hold yourself accountable, you don't keep your word, and you don't follow through with what you know you need to do and what you say you're going to do. So those two things are huge. If you are looking into real estate, make sure that you will hold yourself to what you say you're going to do and get things done for you, for your clients, and for the other agent that you're going to be working with through every transaction. That's huge. A lot of communication goes on. That's another thing. This is just something to keep in mind. You got to be good at communicating. You've got so many people in a transaction you have to talk to. You have to talk to the lender and keep her or him updated at all times what's going on. You have to work with the closing agent, which is at a title company. Her or him and the lender are going to work together a lot, but you also are a main part of that. You have to communicate with the other agent on the side, whether you had the buyer for the home or you had the seller for the home. You've got to communicate and let each other know what's going on. If there's any delays, just be upfront and honest. You've got to communicate with the appraiser, the home inspector, your buyer, your seller, whatever you have. Communication is the number one thing in real estate. If you're an agent, whatever, you have to have good communication skills. You cannot be shy and be backwards and expect to succeed in this business because you just won't. And that's just how it is. That's just how the business works. Another great thing about real estate and being a real estate agent is you don't need a degree to do so. So it took me 1 month to get my license, and it cost me around $2,000, actually less than $2,000. And I actually did a video on that if you want to go check it out. I think it's called like how long and how much it cost me to get in real estate, something like that. But I broke down every expense and I told you how long it took. So I failed the test several times. If you fail the test, they make you wait before you can take it again. I think it took me like 9 months total to get my real estate license. Um, but ideally, a person from when they started classes to when they joined a company and filed all their fees with the state and everything, could have their real estate license in probably at the least amount of time, 2.5 months, and probably quicker if you get on the ball and just keep hit all your deadlines as soon as they come. Another thing is, whenever you're a real estate agent, it's really easy for you to get into investments. So um, whenever you're a realtor, you see what comes in the market through the MLS. And then if you're someone who wants to get into flips or any other kind of real estate investment, it's not going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier, but it is going to help you. You'll be able to see flips that come on the market very, very quickly. You'll be able to just have connections, network with people, and just get more opportunities to start doing flips and start investing into real estate. So it kind of leads into that. You learn a lot of the legalities and kind of some of the loopholes you can use for investing. So it is a good thing to have if you eventually want to get into real estate investing. But people ask me, I'm like, no, you don't have to have a real estate license to invest. But it does lead to people, places, and opportunities that on down the road, if you do want to invest, that it'll just make your life a lot easier. Another great thing about real estate is it's where you can really make the most amount of money in the least amount of time. What I mean by that is I just posted a TikTok earlier and I broke it down. I don't remember what the total check amount was, but I ended up making, once I calculated from start to finish, how long I spent with the people, how long I spent negotiating the deal, how long I spent communicating with the lender, the title company, etc. I broke my paycheck down to how many hours I was getting paid or how much an hour I was getting paid, and I ended up calculating that I had made $460 an hour, which I don't know of a single career, job, hour to hour basis job where you will get paid $460 an hour. There may be some out there, I just don't know of any. So it's just like, wow, like $460 an hour. And of course, real estate transactions take about a month, sometimes more, sometimes less, to close, depending on what the whatever the standards are, I guess you could say. If it's cash, it usually can close in 2 weeks. If it's an USDA loan, it may take 45 days. So you got to think long term. I did not sell the house in the same day I got the money. No, we had to wait for the house to close. So I don't mind. I'm a very long term thinker. That could be a con with real estate is if you sell something in March. It could, like I wrote a contract on one a couple of days ago, and it wasn't going to close until September. And today's August 1st, and I think I wrote that contract like July 29th. And if I had closed it, which we didn't get the contract, unfortunately, we wouldn't have closed until like September 6th or something like that. So definitely got to think long term. But it's worth it to me to wait a month to get my money for $460 an hour. Now, the cons of being a real estate agent, honestly, I can't find very many. One is you do have to be very careful with how you go about the legalities of it. It's very, very easy. There's just so many past things that have happened where realtors have, screwed over the seller or the buyer, and then they've ended up getting sued, or just realtors sometimes can create a bad name for themselves, and they give the rest of us a bad name. But not all of us are bad. A lot of people say realtors are sleazy salesmen, blah blah blah. So there's a lot of legal stuff in place now because all these people from the past have made it rough on all of us in the present now. And those rules are in place for a reason. But I swear, it feels like you can't even hardly move a muscle without having to think like, oh my gosh, like, am I going to get in trouble for this? Is somebody going to report me to the board? But that's also why you have E&O insurance, which is like a policy that will cover you up to like $200,000. At least in Tennessee, that's what it does. It is required that you do have E&O insurance. So you'll just have to check that for whatever state you're in, how much the policy covers. Like you might get a policy that only covers $50,000, and at that point you might want to pay a little extra for a little more coverage. But $200,000 is a really great thing. a great amount to have, because most lawsuits aren't going to go above that, especially if you're careful and you just consider this and this, and make sure that you do everything the right way and that you don't get in trouble doing it. Just if your intentions are good and you know what you're doing, most of the time you're not going to get into any crazy legal trouble, especially if you're not out there intentionally trying to one up someone and take advantage of people who don't know what they're doing. It's very easy to take advantage of people in this business because, it's just a lot. Real estate's a lot. It's something that a lot of people don't understand. And it's just very easy to do that, which is why we have these laws and rules in place now, unfortunately, because people have been so taken advantage of and just beaten up pretty much out of their money. So keep that in mind, but I wouldn't worry about it too much, especially when you go to real estate school. They're going to go over every single law, and by the time you get out of there, you've got a pretty good idea of what you can and cannot do. Another thing is that it does cost some money up front, but if you think about it, you've got a college degree and then you've got real estate school. A college degree is like extremely expensive, but $2,000 for a real estate license is very doable. You could, if you have a job and you don't have a lot of money, you could probably save that money up over the next few months, or even maybe go talk to some companies. Ask them, like, hey, once I get my license, if I sign on with you guys, would you be willing to split the price of the courses with me or whatever? Help me out. I don't have a lot of money. I'm hungry to get into real estate. Would you just kind of split the price of the real estate license with me, the courses, the schooling, or even say if you pay it in full, like me, we can do like a payment plan and I'll pay you back, or my first commission check goes to you. Whatever, just you'd be surprised how many firms would be willing to do that, because they want you on their team so bad. Like, firms want you. Like I said earlier, you're not interviewing, or they're not interviewing you, you're interviewing them. You are picking who you work for. You're picking your boss. They want you. The more agents a company has, the more likely they're going to sell something. So they want all the agents they can get. Doesn't matter if you sell anything or not. It's not costing them any money. But if you do sell something, it's making them money, because you do have a little bit of a split. They may take out 20%. They may take out 60%. Who knows? That's why you got to ask them and, of course, interview them, see what they're going to do for you. But yeah, it does cost money up front, but it's not as much as a college degree costs. And that's why I dropped out of college and I had the money saved, and I put that right into getting my real estate license. It was a no-brainer for me. Another thing that's kind of stressful about being a realtor is, since you are self-employed, you do have what's called a 1099. And so that means they don't take any taxes out. So when you get your paycheck, that's everything. There's been no taxes taken out, which seems cool at first, but then when tax season rolls around and you see how much you've got to pay out of pocket to the government, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish they had just taken the taxes out. But what I recommend you do is, you've got your bank account, set up a separate little account for taxes, and just go ahead and, like, every deal, take out whatever percentage you're going to have to pay when tax season rolls around, and just go ahead and take that out of your check and put it into that separate account. Instead of worrying, when tax season's here and your accountant's like, hey, bring this money, we're going to pay the IRS. Just go ahead and maybe label it real estate taxes or something. I don't know. But just go ahead and separate your real estate taxes for your benefit, for your sake. It's going to make your life so much easier. Tax season's already stressful enough, so just go ahead and take that out and set it aside. It'll make your life easier, I promise you. And then a lot of things, save your receipts on stuff, because since you are a 1099, you can write a lot of things off on taxes, like your mileage. If you go and show a house and you have to drive 25 miles to do that, you can write that off, or maybe your gas. You really just need to have a conversation with your accountant. And also, it's different in each state. It may be different in Tennessee versus other places. Just this year in Tennessee, they got it to where you can be an LLC. So, like, I can put myself in an LLC and have Keller Williams, which is the real estate company I'm at, I can have them pay my LLC instead of, like, paying me as an individual. So that's something else to look into. I've not really looked into that because I don't really know what the tax benefits are. I think those are more for the agents that are doing millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year. I think that benefits them more. I don't think it really benefit me. I've not ever hit the net $1 million mark for selling real estate as a realtor, but yeah, that's definitely something that you can take advantage of. When you buy lock boxes, you can write that off. Um, I think even you can like go on a trip. Let's say you wanted to go to Florida for a week and you wanted to go down there to look at a house, maybe to invest in or something. I'm pretty sure you can write that trip off since you went to Florida to check out a house or something. And then, of course, you can go to the beach or whatever else while you're in Florida. But if you went down there to check on that investment property and you're thinking about investing into it, or maybe a car wash or something, you can write that off on your taxes. So just have that conversation with your accountant. He or she can help you a lot better than I am because I'm not a lawyer or an accountant or anything. I have no idea about that. But I hope that helps some of you that may be wondering like what's the pros and cons of real estate. A lot of people make it seem glamorous. It's not always glamorous. It is very rewarding and a very great way to make money. I love it. I enjoy it. This is for me. It's always been for me. Like I've been doing it since I was 18. I knew that's what I wanted to get into. I was very lucky to know that. However, you may think that it's not for you. You may be happy with a 9 to 5, and that's totally okay. It's all what you want to do and what makes you the happiest. So I hope that helps. I appreciate all your guys' support, and take care. Oh, hit subscribe as well. Thank you. Bye bye.